I'm Brian Abel of WXYZ Channel 7, and it is an absolute honor to be tonight's Master of Ceremonies. Of course, due to the pandemic, things are a bit different this year. Instead of a ballroom, we are coming to you from Zaman's Hope for Humanity Center here in Inkster. And as many of you know, this is where Zaman works to empower women and children to overcome extreme poverty. Thank you so much for joining us and for your continued support of Zaman. Throughout the program, you'll see ways to donate on your screen, and we do hope that you will again contribute to Zaman's mission. While we all wish we could be together in person, of course, we nonetheless wanted to take the opportunity to highlight some of this past year's successes and give you a glimpse of what the future holds for the organization. Tonight's theme, Hope Amid Crisis. It reflects the work of Zaman to bring hope in response to COVID-19, as well as continue to serve its clients throughout the pandemic. Now, before we get into the program, though, we wanted to acknowledge a Zamanitarian we lost this past year, Mariam Al-Mudaffar and her family, led by Mother Jinan Muhammad. They remain one of the most resilient families Zaman has had the honor to serve over the past 2 decades. It was the organization's first work with a differently abled family, given Mariam cerebral palsy and a sibling with autism. Zamanitarians watched Mariam grow up, her face lighting up a room whenever she visited the Hope for Humanity Center. Her upbeat spirit and love touched many lives. When it came time to select a family to represent the organization and the Zaman spirit as part of the 2019 CNN Heroes program, there was little doubt who it would be. Jinan's family appeared in the video, casting Mariam's smile and their resilience across the world. We lost Mariam this past year after her 19 amazing years. She will truly be missed, and we know she inspired many of you watching tonight. That inspiration lives on. Please join me in a moment of silence for Mariam. Thank you. We will be hearing from Zamanitarians throughout the program, from team and board members to donors and clients, all who will speak to Zaman's impact and mission. Many of them will come to you from various locations here in the Hope for Humanity Center, where the work to overcome poverty occurs. Now I'd like to welcome the chairman of Zaman's Board of Directors, Jihad Alawan. Jihad?
Thank you, Brian. On behalf of the Board of Directors, thank you for being here and for your continued support. Zaman could not have grown into a world-class organization without you. We take pride in having impacted nearly 2.5 million people around the world. We work hard every day to ensure your dollars go as far as possible. We are pleased to say that 92 cents of every dollar donated goes towards programming. I am also proud of how our organization pivoted to meet the needs created by the COVID crisis and still serve our clients. What's all more impressive is we did this without missing a beat. COVID-19 increased food insecurity and poverty, and many suffered greatly in our community. Zamanitarians stepped up time and time again. We served as a food emergency provider. We hosted drives to collect items such as hand sanitizers and masks. All this with distributing over 376,000 pounds of food in 2020, nearly 100 tons more than 2019. We could not have done this without our partners, Gleaners, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, local schools, and others who stepped up to help. I had the privilege of participating in our food distributions. I am so thankful for my fellow Zamanitarians who worked tirelessly until we handed out every box of food. Zaman stepped up in many ways throughout the crisis. Please enjoy this video showing our response.
COVID-19 stopped the world. It brought life as we know it to a halt, and for a short time it felt as if the earth stood still. But as jobs were lost and schools closed, the realities of this global pandemic began to sink in for all of us. The increased need for food grew, with the poorest among us bearing the worst of this crisis. With so many of our neighbors hurting and in need, Zaman quickly reorganized and transformed our Hope for Humanity Center in Inkster into an emergency food distribution site. Team members and volunteers emerged masked and ready, packaging meals for families who needed it most while doing our part to slow the spread of the virus. Working with partners throughout the region, Zaman provided families with more than 5,000 emergency food boxes, feeding approximately 20,000 people. We relied on Zamanitarians throughout the nation for contributions and support, which allowed us to rise and meet this unprecedented challenge. For that, we will forever be grateful, and so will the families we served. If everything goes away at Zaman, the one thing that must continue is the ability to feed people. Food not only sustains life, it provides dignity and security. It provides hope for a better future. When we eat, so too should our neighbors. It's our responsibility as one Zaman family. Together, we will keep spreading hope throughout humanity, one mother, one child, one family at a time.
Thank you, Zamanitarians. I'm so proud of this organization and our entire team. Thank you for all who helped us provide hope amid this COVID crisis. One of our goals at Zaman is to fight poverty elsewhere in the world. One of the ways we do that is through our Zaman's partner, International Medical Corps. International Medical Corps is a global first responder. Enjoy this message from International Medical Corps President and CEO, Nancy Aussie.
Hello, I'm Nancy Aussie, President and CEO of International Medical Corps. We're a global humanitarian relief organization and a very proud partner of Zaman International. My colleagues and I first met Najah Bazzi more than 14 years ago. And since that time, we've been inspired by Najah's extraordinary passion for helping others. Under her leadership, Zaman has served the Detroit community in countless ways, providing life-saving services and programs to benefit women and children in need. And Zaman has done even more. Recognizing the importance of serving our global family, Zaman teamed up with International Medical Corps in 2007 to support our humanitarian relief efforts around the world. Most recently, following the terrible explosion in Beirut, the Zaman community raised nearly $500,000 through its Lift Lebanon campaign. Thanks to Zaman and its generous community, our emergency response teams were able to quickly support overwhelmed hospitals and health facilities, mobilize urgently needed supplies and staff, and deploy mobile medical teams to provide care to those who were hardest hit. Through many other devastating disasters over the years, Zaman has been one of our most reliable and committed partners, consistently stepping up to help people who are suffering. Together, we have provided clean drinking water for drought-stricken communities, nutrition services for malnourished children, maternal health services for women struggling to access care, mental health services for refugees fleeing violence, and so much more. In fact, Zaman and International Medical Corps have reached more than 726,000 people across 15 countries and territories. It has been a true honor to join forces with Najah and Zaman's powerful community to lift up our global family across borders. Together, we will continue to heal and restore hope.
To those of you who donated to the Lift Lebanon campaign that Nancy was referring to, we say thank you. While Zaman's reach is global, the vast majority of its work is here in our local communities. In 2020, the organization passed the key milestone of having served more than 300,000 of our neighbors right here in Southeast Michigan since 2010. This year alone, Zaman served nearly 30,000. That impact is made possible with your support. This year, Zaman received donations from around the world from those who wanted to bring hope to humanity during a difficult year. The next portion of this program is going to provide a snapshot of that impact, which does not happen without the leadership of Zaman's board of directors. Let's now hear from one of the newest members of the board, Amanda Jawad.
Thank you, Brian. Hello, everyone. I've been a member of the board for the past year and a half. I so wish we could all be together tonight, but as you all know, we're making the best of a very difficult year. It's been tough on everyone. Some of us have had to adjust to living our entire lives on a computer screen. Some of you have been battling on the front lines, and some of us have lost family members or people that were close to us. But if there's anything that being a Zamanitarian has taught me, it's that no matter how deep the loss, how profound the suffering, there's always hope. I'm standing here now in the Hope for Humanity Center. How fitting is it that we're here tonight? I'm in the Good Deeds resale shop, a place where our clients can come to shop for household items, to shop for clothing free of charge, and have a dignified shopping experience. It's also a place that generates revenue for Zaman. And it's one of my favorite places because everyone who walks through these doors is treated just like family. I came here once when I first joined the board and didn't even tell anyone who I was or that I was a board member. And I was welcomed with open arms and treated with such kindness and respect. That's the experience that our clients have when they come through the door here too. And this entire center radiates with a feeling of love and compassion. It's amazing just to be standing here right now. And that's really what sets Zaman apart from other relief organizations as well. We lead with compassion. We lead with love. Our clients' dignity is always front and center. And some of the poverty that our clients have experienced can be soul-crushing. They've had doors closed, dead ends everywhere they've turned for so long. But when they come here, every program, every space that you're seeing tonight is designed specifically to uplift and empower them so that they can reach into their own inner strength and resilience and rise above, so they can begin to stand on their own 2 feet and care for their families. We aim to break the cycle of poverty, and we do that in addition to providing immediate basic needs. So that brings me to our next segment. We'd like for you to hear directly from a client. After that, you're going to hear from my fellow board member, Samreen Ahmed. As always, we lead with dignity. So you're going to hear our client's words without seeing her face because we wanted her to be able to speak candidly and openly. But you'll hear directly how Zaman has influenced her life. Thank you.
I had a part-time job and was trying to make ends meet, but it just wasn't working. As a mother, I constantly worried about my kids. I worried about how to give them a good life, about their future. The stress was overwhelming. It took a toll on my health. I was watching my kids live in pain as my own health worsened. My life felt shattered into pieces. I was always sad and always struggling to figure things out. When my daughter got in a car accident and was injured, I felt like I was hit too. It felt like I had hit a wall. I felt like I couldn't keep going. I wasn't sure what to do, but I knew I had to do something. I started calling around to different organizations asking for help. That was when I found Zaman. From the minute I walked into the Hope for Humanity Center, it was like a breath of fresh air. I found a safe place to be real and admit that I needed help. The caseworkers listened. They listened to my story. They understood my pain. And they gave me a place to feel safe. A place to be heard. A place to talk through my struggles. And a place to find solutions. Each month, I was struggling to feed my family. Without food stamps and with my limited income, I always felt we were short. Zaman offered me food each month. I would come to their pantry to shop for the foods I knew my family would like. Today, I come to their drive-through food distributions whenever we need a bit of extra support. The Zaman team also helped me with getting things for my kids during the holidays. They made my children feel loved and very special. With money tight, they helped me avoid a utility shutoff and get into a payment program with DTE to keep the power on. The team at Zaman helped me to get back up when I thought I could not. They gave me the energy I needed to work harder and reach farther. They taught me to better manage my money, to spend responsibly. They gave me hope in a better tomorrow and referred me to get help to manage my depression. I set up goals for myself, and as I achieved them, my life became better. Today, I still get so excited each time I reach a new one. When I was at rock bottom, I struggled to find hope. Because of Zaman, I am more confident, more motivated, and more successful. My family is healthier and happier. I worry less about what the future holds. I am so glad I made that phone call and found Zaman.
That was a powerful video, and thank you, Amanda, for the introduction. My commitment to Zaman is anchored in my deep-rooted belief that my success will only be measured within the context of what I do for others, and in particular those who may not have the same access or opportunities that I have been granted. My lived experience has also taught me that by empowering someone, by giving them decision-making power over the decisions that impact their life, by creating psychological safety, by creating a sense of belonging, and most importantly, by honoring their dignity, we have the ability to unleash the untapped potential that exists within. This is the belief that drives me as a mother, as in the teams that I lead, and as a citizen of this world. I've also come to understand that I will have plenty of opportunities to lead. It's always the question of what do I do with that privilege and that responsibility. For me, this is about giving back to Zaman and helping Zaman accomplish its mission by building a sustainable organization whose legacy will live long beyond my time in this world. Now, the incredible thing about doing work with Zaman is that you know that the benefits are endless. By empowering a woman, you benefit her child, her family, her community, and the world in which she works and lives. And we do this by opening our hearts, our minds, and our doors, by making sure that the client is at the core of everything that we do. We are very intentional about making sure that we're meeting our clients where they are at, whether they're dealing with a crisis and we need to provide their basic needs, all the way through giving them the skills that they need to be able to chart their own future. We are committed to building an organization that goes well beyond checking the box, rather one that creates sustainable and meaningful impact in our clients' lives. And finally, we are committed to building a best-in-class leading organization, one that has the courage and is willing to tackle the structural and societal barriers around transportation, childcare, preventative health, and creating meaningful employment opportunities for people. And while it might feel like our focus is on unlocking the potential of our Zaman clients, I sincerely believe that we are driving exponential change towards creating a better world for all. Now, as a strategist, I've had the privilege of working with best-in-class corporate leaders for the last 2.5 decades in solving big problems with big solutions at scale. And what I understand is at the crossroads of corporate, government, nonprofit, and as we emerge from this post-pandemic world, Zaman is centered to lead. To the board members, to the volunteers, to the staff that I have been privileged to work alongside on this journey, I am humbled to serve. Serving Zaman has been one of the greatest privileges of my life. And to the donors who make it possible, thank you.
Thank you, Sumreen. Now, one of the unique aspects about the Hope for Humanity Center is that it serves as a one-stop for hope for clients in need. It not only provides the supports and resources to those in crisis, it provides a sustainable path forward. Humanitarians talk so much about hope because it is the ethos of the work. When basic human needs are satisfied, Zaman clients believe in a day better than the one before, in a promising future better than the past. Our next guest plays an integral role in ensuring Zaman's clients have the support they need to realize those better days beyond crisis. Gigi Selka is Director of Boost. It stands for Building Ongoing Opportunities Through Skills Training. Gigi.
Welcome to Zaman Sewing Center. On a normal day, you would see our students sitting behind these sewing machines learning how to sew. They learn how to do alterations and how to make garments. This is part of Zaman's Workforce Development Program. They have access to our social workers so that they can work with them on case management and to give them the tools they need to break any barriers: childcare, transportation, food insecurity, housing. All of these wraparound services are essential for Zaman's clients to be successful, for them to be able to concentrate on their education and to think of their futures and be hopeful in order to provide sustainable income for themselves and their families. Zaman realizes that not every student is the same, and we need to deliver our programs accordingly. Some of our students are refugees. They lack the English skills, but they also lack the cultural competencies to work in an American environment. That is all integrated into all of our sewing programs, culinary programs, and literacy programs. We also have our students that were never given the opportunity to fulfill their education or to fulfill their dreams. We also have special programs for those students, for them to get their GED, their high school diploma, or to improve their skills in order to be able to work. In order to accomplish the workforce development piece, Zaman created a strong entrepreneurship program. Our students are encouraged to be entrepreneurs. They go through a 12-week program about entrepreneurship. They learn about inventory, money management, financial literacy, setting goals for themselves, and really picking a product that they would like to sell. Most of the students that have graduated to our intermediate and advanced sewing classes are entrepreneurs at home. They are doing alterations. They are doing commissioned work. They are creating income for their families. What we are so excited about is the next step in this workforce development process. For those students who are ready to go into a traditional workforce, but they're not really quite ready to go outside of Zaman, they still need that boost. They still need that confidence, that self-esteem for them to be successful. Zaman is building out our sewing factory. This will give our students that graduate from the sewing program an opportunity to work here at Zaman in a safe environment in which they will have the support of the Zaman staff. They will have the social workers, they will have the love, they will have the comfort for them to go through those skills. And eventually, transition out of Zaman's sewing factory and into a traditional employment setting. That is all part of Zaman's mission to break the cycle of intergenerational poverty, but really meeting the students where they are and providing the opportunities that they need, when they need it, how they need it. Not every student is the same. It is not a cookie cutter method. We need to provide opportunities for them to be successful. And we need to realize that sometimes things may look different for each person. And now I'd like to turn it over to Chef Daniela to talk about the Boost Culinary Program.
Thanks, Gigi. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Zaman's Culinary Center. Right now, I'm standing in our brand new kitchen, amply titled The Kitchen That Keeps on Giving. After this construction is complete, we'll actually have two kitchens. One kitchen that's for culinary education, and this kitchen that's for product development and distribution. This is going to offer our clients a variety of different services, not only education, but also employment, which is incredibly pivotal to bringing our mission full circle. The kitchen helps us in so many different ways, including hot lunches, a catering program, and brand new products. Products like our delicious, fluffy, delectable Loaves for Hope focaccia bread. Yes, you can get yours today in local Metro Detroit stores. And remember, all of the revenue goes straight back into our programming. That's what's so incredible about our culinary kitchen. Again, it is truly full circle. It helps our clients with workforce development, and they prove that every single time they graduate, every single semester. Clients like our student last year, who graduated in the midst of a pandemic, not only got a job, but was just announced Employee of the Month. Or our current student that's enrolled that actually escaped the California wildfires with her kids, only to find herself displaced in Michigan, but yet she enrolled in our culinary arts program and is thriving in it today. So you can see, everyone, how important and pivotal your help is to helping our clients, our students, and our mission. Now, please enjoy a short video about workforce development in our vocational culinary arts kitchen.
Hi everyone, welcome to Zaman International's Hope for Humanity Center. We appreciate that you're here with us today, and we're excited to show you what's been happening here. As you know, back in February of last year, Zaman International jumped into crisis mode and we converted our Hope for Humanity Center into a food distribution place. We've been doing that through drive-through services, and we have been able to deliver more food to families in the past few months than we did all of last year in 2019. But on the inside, we're using the time that we had to complete one of our great big dreams, and that is the client corridor. We've developed our second commercial kitchen. We're going to have our sewing center. We're going to have a healthcare clinic, and we're going to move everything into this corridor so when a client comes through the door for basic needs, they can also realize their full potential. Here at Zaman, workforce development is the last piece of our holistic approach to caring for our clients from beginning to end.
Loaves for Hope is our new product line being developed here at Zaman. And we are developing this product line here in our brand new production kitchen. And the goal is to develop baked goods, especially focusing on focaccia bread. This line will hopefully be produced by our clients. So the goal is to bring our clients in, train them in our vocational culinary program, and then bring them back into Zaman to work. This will really realize the mission of Zaman and help with the sustainability of its programs.
I am a person that loves to help people. I love helping people in any way I can. Cooking, feeding, the loaves of hope is one thing that I think that is a beautiful thing to give. This is something that I don't mind waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, getting here, cooking this bread because it's going somewhere to help somebody. And this is, I think, is a place I need to be.
Our workforce development program is exciting. You're going to be able to see what's happening here at the center and the build-up. We want you to be a part of this. This is a part of your story as well as our story. Putting people to work, putting these moms to work and breaking their cycle of poverty, that is the key. That's what we've been working on for the past 20 years.
If you like what you see, please take this opportunity during this program to donate. You just follow the prompts on the screen. Now, we'd like to talk about what the future of Zaman holds. While it's been a difficult year by any measure, we are excited about what lies ahead. Part of that is continuing to seek out great leadership to help ensure that this organization is constantly innovating and evolving. Next, you're going to hear a message from Adil Haq, who is a longtime Zaman supporter. Adil is a financial expert in New York and the first member of Zaman's National Advisory Committee. This committee will eventually feature other leaders from across the country who advise Zaman and provide guidance for strategic growth based on their area of expertise. As for Adil, we are very grateful he is lending his time and influence to expand Zaman's impact and stewardship.
Good evening. My name is Adil. It's nice to meet you, and thank you for welcoming me to your home. Welcome to mine. Sister Neja asked me to share a few words with you about Zaman and my experiences with Zaman, both as a Zamanitarian as well as a National Advisory Council member. Let me first introduce myself. I've been here since 1994. I'm an Indian by origin, but very proud to call myself American. I love what this country stands for. I graduated from the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor with a bachelor's and master's degree in engineering, and have been holding either a management consulting or finance job for the last 20 plus years. A father of 3, husband, son, and the eldest of 5. It's my honor to be speaking with you today. And really, the only thing that could have been better than speaking with you today is to meet you today. But unfortunately, given where we are with the pandemic situation, this is probably what makes the most sense. Nonetheless, let me share with you a few thoughts on Zaman and what initially attracted me to the organization and then has kept me with the organization and really increased my involvement in the organization. I think first and foremost, I was really just very attracted to the mission, going after and really addressing the needs of those who are disenfranchised, those who are more helpless in our society, and finding ways to give them human dignity. I think just speaks to a very deep-seated and strong mission to help and to create a difference to some of the most marginalized members of our society, which really moves me to my core personally. And I think as I've gotten to know the management team, as I've gotten to know Sister Nesha, as well as the board, I've really wanted to become more involved. So I was really very pleased when Sister Nesha offered me the opportunity to come on board as the National Advisory Council member. And, you know, in that capacity, I've spent quite some time with the management team, with the board, with various committees, as well as with Sister Nesha, really diving deep into a few discussions that we've had over the last several months during these interesting times. And I've really come away quite pleased and impressed. I mean, I'll just share a few snippets with you of my experience. You know, the best 3 ways in which I can maybe summarize and describe the interactions have been around this sense of commitment, this mindset of entrepreneurship, and this approach of continuous improvement that the team really has. You know, on the first one, when it comes to commitment, I think I saw that when we had the discussion about how to really think ahead and how to continue to hold the mission so dearly to us. Whether it's thinking about compensation of various types of employees or thinking about whether or not one should be setting an endowment to help future-proof the organization, or thinking about investment ideas to make the organization self-sustaining and to create new program streams and revenue streams and partnership opportunities. All of that really to help take the mission to the next level and help take the organization to the next level. I think all of this is couched in the spirit of entrepreneurism, the spirit of change, the idea to want to do things and strive for better things, break down barriers, not be bureaucratic, and really lean forward, which has been refreshing to see, and approach it with the spirit of continuous improvement, this change for the better. I think we can probably all relate to that, being humans and wanting to be better, wanting to improve ourselves as individuals, because really if you get stale, you become obsolete and you're no longer as relevant. So I think every organization, much like every individual, needs to continue to rejuvenate. And Zaman has this spirit of continuous improvement and continuing to better oneself, despite being already a pretty well-functioning organization. So those were some of my thoughts and observations, just having spent a little bit of time with the group and to give you a little bit of the sense of what I have seen, observed, and felt over the last few months. You know, I am very committed to the organization and excited to be part of it, and I know you are too. And I really just want to end my thoughts wishing you well, wishing you peace, wishing you good health, safety, happiness to you and your families. Wishing you a very blessed evening and hoping that the next time we get together in person. Thank you.
Our next speaker is a stranger to no one watching. Following the 2019 CNN Hero recognition, her commitment to the fight against poverty continued to resonate around the country. Let's just say 2020 was quite an encore for Najah Bazi and Zaman. It elevated the hard work Zamanitarians do every day as stewards of our brothers and sisters in humanity. That work landed in People magazine's Women Changing the World in 2020 issue and featured Najah's smile on bags of Lay's potato chips around the country. I even found a few in my travels. Her work recognized in the Detroit News, naming Najah a 2020 Michiganian of the Year and the Michigan Women's Hall of Fame, inducting her into its latest class of inspirational women. But she will be the first to emphatically tell you it's not about her. It's about Zaman and the mission. It's about the Zaman values of dignity, stewardship, compassion, integrity, and hope. The true heroes are the women and children who inspire us with their smiles, who stand resilient in the face of extreme poverty and seemingly unsurmountable obstacles. It is always an honor to introduce Najah Bazi.
Thank you, Brian. Hello, everyone. Good evening to you. Salam and peace to each and every one of you. It is our distinct honor to be here at our Hope for Humanity Center this year, hosting you in your home while we are broadcasting into your home. The COVID crisis has certainly changed things around, and we all know this, and you've listened for the last 30, 45 minutes about what's happening here at Zaman. But I really want to speak to you tonight from my heart, as always, about what it is that Zaman is hoping to accomplish in 2021. This is some pretty serious stuff. Before we speak about Zaman's future vision for 2021 and a little bit beyond that, I want to just take a moment to pivot and talk about this COVID crisis. Now, I know many of us are tired of hearing about it. The isolation has been difficult. We've lost millions of people, 2.4 million people to date, to the COVID crisis, and over 100 million people who've been diagnosed worldwide. What this has taught us is that a little microorganism can transfer from one person to another. But the other thing it has taught us is that same opposite energy of hope and love can also be transferred from one person to another. I want to take a moment to acknowledge all of those who've lost their loved ones and who've suffered through this crisis. And I would like to take just a brief moment to thank all of the frontliners once again, and for all of those who are getting ready to vaccinate us, and for those who've been vaccinated, congratulations to you. As we move forward in our journey here at Zaman International, the one thing that this COVID crisis has definitely taught us and has reinforced is the resilience of our human family. Here at Zaman, we're able to pivot, and it's because of the leadership we have and the type of dedication we have to the mission and the cause that Zaman has been able to be on the front lines of this crisis. In fact, we pivoted before the nation made their pivot. We took this beautiful 40,000 square feet and we transformed it into the feeding center that you saw in the videos. I want to take a moment to reflect on Zaman's past, where it is present, and where we're going in our future. When I personally myself think of Zaman, I'm able to reflect back to the step-by-step things that happened, the timeline, if you will. From a baby dying on a laundry basket to an infant burial program. From a woman and her son who we found next to a dumpster on a cold night to a full-blown case management program. From illiteracy to literacy. From a sewing machine to a sewing program to a sewing center, and soon, in September of 2021, God willing, an industrial sewing center. From the ability to pack hot meals from restaurants to a bona fide culinary arts program. And the list goes on and on. One step at a time, Zaman has built its mission and its vision. Zaman cannot be Zaman without you. You, our donors, our partners, our volunteers, our stakeholders, and yes, our clients. You make up the Zaman family. You decide and determine Zaman's next stage of growth. When we began Zaman, we were dealing with poverty, extreme poverty. We were dealing with refugee resettlement. But as Zaman continued to grow, it realized that there was this extremely marginalized population of mothers and their children. So we began to focus very diligently on this particular population. You have heard me say time and time and time again, a handout is not what women and their children need. A hand up is what they need. And this organization has been able to provide it, not only locally, but even globally. I want to emphasize how critical this organization is to its Inkster community and to Southeast Michigan in general. But more importantly, how important Zaman is in the nation and now in the world. We have been leading with integrity, with dignity, with impact, and with transparency. These are the golden spokes that make up the wheel of Zaman International. Where do we go from here? Is it enough just to feed people? No. Is it enough just to educate? No. What makes Zaman special is that it can see the need far in its future, back up, and prepare for the goals that it needs to meet. We are now on the cusp of breaking the cycle of poverty after 20 years of very hard work. On the cusp of breaking that cycle of poverty is so critically important because, as I said before, perhaps we gave a food box, perhaps we did a coat drive, backpacks, all of these necessary things. But imagine that our client can now walk through one door and walk out the other with her complete life cycle of poverty being broken. How are we going to do this? We know that we must put women to work. We also know that before we can address transportation, childcare, and her healthcare needs, all of which we plan to do, she must be employed at a living wage that allows her the dignity and allows her children the dignity that they need to be able to break their cycle of poverty and prosper. I want you to remember something very important here. These are children who do not have fathers. They only have their mothers, and they have people like you and myself and other stakeholders that see the world the way we see the world. We believe in human equity. We believe that everyone deserves a chance. My children, their children, and your children. So, during this COVID crisis, while Zaman had transformed itself into a feeding center, we were actually busy here inside Zaman when Zaman was in shutdown and unable to have people come here, and we decided it's the time to go ahead and build out our dream, the last phase of this mission, which is the workforce development phase. That means that through our new kitchen, product to market, through our new industrial sewing center with product to market and contracts, we will be able to employ as many women as possible. This is critical. It's critical because we talk about this mother as being the beating heart of her family. We've often said in past years, and you've heard me say this, if she falls, it's like dominoes. All her children fall. We decided that we would not allow this to happen on our watch. And so here we are, right on the cusp, with the ability to break the cycle of poverty as I'm speaking to you right now. I do hope that one day we will be getting together, not to just fundraise for Zaman, but to discuss where Zaman will be in the world after it completes its mission here locally. How will it exist? What will it look like? What form will it take on? So we know we still have a long way to grow, and we're not going to stop, as our chairman said. As long as people are hungry and need us, we are going to be available. I want to talk to you for another moment about our good deeds, all the wonderful things that so many people here do for this organization. You know, year after year, I believe this, and I think maybe you do too. Year after year, we have these annual events, and you give very generously to this organization. But in many ways, this organization also gives back to you and to me. Have you ever been in a situation, I know I have, where you've given a donation to something, and then the next day, there was some sort of emergency or catastrophe that was averted. And then you stop and you think to yourself, was it averted because I did a good deed? I promise you, both spiritually, and I promise you from a perspective that we've learned here at Zaman, the more good you do, the more good you get back. Now, I'm not here to sell you on your donation. That's something between you and your own heart. But I am here to tell you that I honestly, truly believe with my full conviction that this is one of the most stellar organizations I've ever had the privilege to serve. And we do it together. It's that simple. So I want you to please consider making your donation tonight. I'd like for you to consider a sizable donation. Do the very best that you can. Let's break that cycle of poverty. Let's do it together. Let's get back together next year when we can be in one room together. And let's honor the work that we've brought home to the people who need us most. I'd like to thank everyone who's participated in this evening. And I'd especially like to pay respect to our clients who teach us every single day that hope is around the corner, and it's here within these walls. I'd also like to thank you, Brian. Thank you so very much for being our MC this evening, and back to you. Thank you so much. God bless. Have a good night.
Thank you, Najah. If you're feeling inspired by Zaman's vision and what you've heard tonight, please click the button below to donate now. Of course, you can also donate at zamaninternational.org. Zaman's 2020 annual report is available now at the link at the bottom of this feed. It's going to provide a lot more detail and data about the programming and impact you've heard about tonight. Tonight's programming will also be available online, and we encourage you to help spread the word. Please share links to the video and the annual reports with your network and on social media with the hashtag #HopeForHumanity. Thank you for your continued support, and thank you for joining us. Good night.